e5, king's pawn game, opening line. Black responds symmetrically, making a direct challenge to the central squares. f4, king's gambit, opening line. The king's gambit has been the hallmark of attacking players since the mid-19th century. White must be ready to sacrifice a pawn or more to retain the initiative. E takes f4, king's gambit, accepted, opening line. In accepting the king's gambit, black must be prepared to meet 3 bishop c4, the bishop's gambit, designed to prevent the freeing move 3d5, or go into the main line that attempts to hold the pawn. F takes e4, threatens white's knight at f3. Castle kingside. Slightly better is knight e5. E takes f3. Queen takes f3. Pins black's pawn at b7, attacks black's pawn at f4, and blocks black's pawn at f4. Black wins a knight and a pawn for a pawn. Black is ahead by a knight and a pawn in material. Bishop c5 check removes the threat on black's pawn at f4 and checks white's king. d4 removes the threat on white's king and forks black's bishop at c5 and black's pawn at f4. Bishop takes d4 check pins white's pawn at b2, removes the threat on black's pawn at f4, and checks white's king. Black wins a pawn. Black is up a knight and 2 pawns in material. King h1 moves it out of check and attacks black's pawn at f4 with 2 pieces. d6 leads to queen h5, check, g6, queen d5, queen f6, rook takes f4, knight e7, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, knight b c6, rook f4, bishop f5, which wins a queen for a queen, a bishop, and a pawn. Better is d5, leading to rook e1, check, knight e7, bishop takes d5, rook f8, knight c3, c6, bishop c4, queen d6, knight e4, queen h6, which loses a pawn. Bishop takes f4, hangs the pawn at b2. Leads to knight f6, knight d2, knight c6, rook a e1, check, knight e5, queen b3, king f8, knight f3, knight takes c4, knight takes d4, which wins a bishop and a pawn for a bishop. Better is queen h5, check, leading to g6, queen d5, queen f6, rook takes f4, knight e7, queen takes d4, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, knight b c6, rook f4, bishop f5, which wins a queen, a bishop, and a pawn for a queen. This was white's most significant error, but the game remained within reach of either player. Black eventually resigned. Knight c3 frees white's pawn at b2 from the pin and removes the threat on white's pawn at b2. Bishop g4 hangs the pawn at b7. leads to rook a e1 check, bishop e5, bishop takes e5, d takes e5, rook takes e5 check, king f8, queen takes g4, knight c6, rook d5, queen e7, rook d7, h5, rook takes e7, h takes g4, rook takes c7, which wins a queen and a bishop. For a queen, 2 bishops and 2 pawns. Better is knight c6 leading to rook a e1 check, bishop e5, knight d5, rook f8, bishop g5, bishop g4, knight takes f6 check, g takes f6, queen takes g4, f takes g5, which wins a bishop and a knight. For a bishop and a knight. This was black's most critical error. Even though the game was within reach here, black eventually resigned. Rook a e1 check protects white's queen and checks black's king. King f8 leads to queen d5, bishop h5, queen takes h5, queen d7, knight d5, bishop takes b2, knight takes f6, bishop takes f6, bishop h6, queen e7, rook takes e7, king takes e7, bishop takes g7, bishop takes g7, queen f7 check, king d8, queen takes g7, which wins a rook, a bishop, a knight, and a pawn. For a queen, 2 bishops, a knight, and a pawn. Better is bishop e5 leading to bishop takes e5, d takes e5, rook takes e5 check, king f8, queen takes g4, knight c6, rook d5, queen e7, rook d7, h5, rook takes e7, h takes g4, rook takes c7, which wins a queen and a bishop. For a queen, 2 bishops and 2 pawns. Queen d5 threatens checkmate. Queen to f7 threatens black's bishop at d4 and blocks black's pawn at d6. Queen d7 leads to queen takes d4, queen d8, bishop h6, knight d7, queen d5, queen e7, rook takes e7, king takes e7, queen f7 check, king d8, bishop takes g7, rook e8, rook takes f6, which wins a rook. For a queen, a bishop, a knight, and a pawn. Better is bishop h5 leading to queen takes h5, queen d7, knight d5, bishop takes b2, knight takes c7, bishop e5, bishop takes e5, queen takes c7, bishop takes f6, which wins a knight and a pawn. For 2 bishops, a knight, and a pawn. Knight c6. Black moves into a forced mate. Much better is queen d8. Knight c6 leads to queen takes f6 check, g takes f6, bishop h6 check, queen g7, rook takes f6 and mate. Queen takes f6 check. White tightens the noose with mate in 2. Partially pins black's pawn at g7 and checks black's king. Leads to g takes f6, bishop h6 check, queen g7, rook takes f6 and checkmate. Black resigns.